Hello guys, so hope you have had a profitable morning thus far. You've heard a couple of our friends from the vendors, a couple of our friends from the carriers. So now you have a broad vision of what's going on, right? Now the idea here is, and let me move right along this, from our technology partners in the industry, you probably heard about a bunch of technologies that are already working, are already out there. So maybe they are not fully developed, maybe there are still things that need to come together, but the technology is sound enough, it's mature enough to start being deployed. On the other hand, there is a bunch of processes that have to do with people and so on and so forth that have also evolved over the past couple of years, so that shouldn't be a hurdle anymore. Meaning, at this point, we can move on to the business, onto trying to make some money out of it. And what is important? For a crowd like this, that is heavily focused on technology, why should we care about the business side of it? Well, basically because we have extensive experience on what happens to companies that solely focus on technology. On the left, you can see a bunch of really good companies that have gone away. They had great technology, but they did not necessarily have the business models. They were not making money to sustain those operations, to sustain that research and development, right? So with all of these developments in SDN and NFV, we don't really want this technology to go away. And the way to sustain this, to keep this going, is actually to make it profitable, right? So should we wait another couple of months, even a couple of years for this to mature more? I don't think so. And I think we can show you that at least through 4 different angles, there are companies that today are already making money and are already capitalizing on these technologies, okay? So we're gonna go over specific examples of each of these, but let's take a quick look at them. First angle is to just digitize operations, right? And here we have 2 really good examples. I would like to address first Revigo because it's a very interesting stuff. They are doing mostly logistics, so fleet management, right? This is something with the proper algorithms like Revigo is implementing. It's no longer just about knowing where your fleet is, where a truck is, or what is the best path to drive such and such cargo home. It's also about knowing what is the state of your driver. Does he need rest? Can you just send him a notification to make sure he stops for a while and takes a rest and continues on his journey? So it's becoming less of an art, more of a science. You can really tell critical stuff to these guys and make sure that operations continue, you know, unstopped. Second one, redefining the experience. And here, the best example is Netflix. Netflix has completely changed the game in terms of how we consume content, right? Up till a couple of years back, and probably most of this crowd remembers Blockbuster and all of these companies, they have gone away. And the reason is Netflix model has empowered the end user. You can rent stuff anytime you want. You don't have to go out of your home to actually go and consume this content. And that gives the customer that sense of control. He knows when he wants, what he wants and when he wants it, and he consumes it any way he wants. Let me address this a bit more. How many of you travel extensively? Yeah, well, I spent a bunch of time in the plane. So you get to a strange city, and obviously your cable provider is not at the hotel you are staying at, so that doesn't work for you. A company like Blockbuster would not work for you either. There is no, you don't have a subscription to the local Blockbuster or whatever, but because you have Netflix or you have now Amazon or any of these other companies, you just open up your laptop, go into the site, and get the content that you were seeing. Another example, a bunch of years back, when 24 was the new series and so on and so forth, I went to the local store, I bought the first disc out of the season. By the time my wife and I finished watching the first 4 chapters, we were hooked on the series. But unfortunately, it was 10:30, so I couldn't go to the store and buy more content. Well, guess what? If that had happened today, I would have probably gone into the Apple store and just buy the whole season, right? So huge opportunity for upsell of this type of things. And the main driver is redefining the experience. You are in control. You decide when, where, and how you consume this content. New services. So we have Zipcar, we have Amazon as example, and basically here through all of this digitalization, you can offer stuff that you previously couldn't, and in different manners. So for example, having this over the cloud allows you to sell stuff like Office 365, like infrastructure as a service, like platform as a service, and there is an agility to it also. It does no longer require years of development to actually be able to offer this onto the market. You can actually do this fairly quickly and keep being competitive in a market that moves really fast. So again, it's all about having an edge in the market, right? And finally, new business models. So we have guys like Google, we have guys like Apple. Again, from the previous slide, the king of the hill used to be BlackBerry. There was not a single business user that didn't have a BlackBerry or wanted to have a BlackBerry. And yet, changing the business model, integrating the software with the hardware, changing the way in which we consume, Apple has become predominant in the market. Now, a brand that was mostly thought of as something that a younger generation, a rebellious generation would use is now commonplace in the business, right? Most business users have a Mac, have an iPhone, so it's about that. Let me go into specific details on specific examples of companies we partner to approach these different angles. So first, the first one that we discussed, fast time to market with digitized operations, right? Okay, so basically, with this customer, whose identity I need to maintain private, basically what we did is change the way we work with them. Instead of being a vendor to them and actually supplying a solution, we partnered with them. And we absolutely needed to partner to change the way in which we were developing this solution for them. So basically what we did is approach it as a DevOps operation with a joint team of our people and their people. And basically the target was to bring a new service to market as fast as possible. Because the more time we save in bringing that product to market, the earliest we could start getting revenue out of the solution. Okay. So with that target in mind, we were able to actually deploy a new VNF in 12 weeks. Within 12 weeks, we stood up a platform that had the full Mano piece and the full BSS, OSS connectors in order to capitalize on it within 12 weeks. In order to achieve these 12 weeks, basically, we did daily Scrum meetings with our partner, with our customer. Again, they were our partner on this. Basically, through a global organization with both virtual and on-site meetings. We did several sprints, which is nothing new to the software community, but in this case, our customer/partner was an integral part of the process and of the development. And through this, within 12 weeks, we were able to have 258 tasks completed and 76 friendly customers onboarded to be able to prove the solution. The results of this is that instead of taking the usual 9 months to complete a project of this size, we were actually early by 6 months. So those are 6 months of revenue that these guys were able to actually receive, and hence fund and create a return on investment earlier for this product. And that additional revenue also funds new tasks, new products, new developments, right? So it becomes a virtuous cycle. This additional revenue helps drive more innovation into the company, okay? Second one, having a better customer experience. In this case, this customer approached it from the marketplace piece. So basically what we delivered was a marketplace for them to change the way in which their customers consume their products and services, right? So again, like we were saying for Netflix, the idea here is our customers, most of our customers, now know what they want to consume. they want clarity. That's a huge piece of this. I want to know exactly what I'm paying for. I want to know when I'm paying for this, and I can consume this content from wherever I want, whenever I want. Okay, so we approach this through a digital marketplace. Things that you could not do on a traditional approach are things like, for example, offering the customer a try and buy, right? So now the customer can log onto this marketplace, they can choose a service, and they can actually choose to test it before they actually buy it. And we can offer this and convert them in an automatic fashion to a regular customer, to a recurring customer. Right? So the exact or the specific effect of this is that we increase the conversion rate by 15%. Now customers that are coming and testing are becoming regular customers, subscription customers to us. Because they know where to buy it and how to buy it, they usually pick around. And like in the case I was telling you about the series, about 24, once you are already a customer, you will probably see some other stuff that you need. So now, if I was, for example, buying infrastructure as a service, I will probably go onto that digital marketplace and see that you are also offering some sort of security, either a virtual firewall or an antivirus or something like that. If I know I need it and I am already on your site, I will probably consume it. So there is a huge opportunity for upsell. And finally, on the customer care side, there is a bunch, I mean, you guys probably have better stats than me, but a large number of the problems reported by the customers could actually be solved in simple ways, right? So by automating this, by showing this on a web page and guiding them through the troubleshooting steps, you can actually improve by 40% the time to resolution of most of the problems, right? And that also reduces the load on actual problems. So your support teams can actually focus on the real problems, not on trivial stuff. This is probably one of the most exciting ones. How do you enter a new market and reduce your cost of sales? Throughout the previous examples I've given you, basically out of the Netcracker portfolio, we take specific modules that we use to deliver specific results to the customer. So look at it as a toolbox. You want to digitize your operations, you probably want some Mano in there and will probably need some integration to OSS, BSS. You want to give a better customer experience, you'll probably add that marketplace to it, that digital marketplace. But this solution is very interesting because it uses most of the portfolio. And the interesting thing is this. If you're a service provider, let's say our friends at Verizon that presented earlier, most of your presence is in North America, right? You may want to expand your operations to other territories. How you would do that normally? You would need to set up an office in wherever territories you want to expand to. You would need to create a sales team to do your sales. You would probably need to stand up a bunch of hardware, network, antennas, a bunch of stuff in order to provide this. But when you are entering the realm of virtualization, BNFs can really be delivered from a central site, from a data center, onto the customer side. And hence, you do not necessarily need to have a network to go into that. And you do not necessarily need to have an operations team to actually deliver on configurations and provisioning of new services, because you have automated operations, because you have all of these BNFs at a central data center. Now you can start doing this virtually over other carriers' infrastructure, right? So for this specific customer, what we did is they are not the incumbent in the country where they intended to increase their business. They had huge challenges over the past 3-4 years to compete in the marketplace because of new entrants that had deeper pockets and actually were investing heavily on the region. And hence what we did is partner with them once again. And when I say partner, is both on the business and technology levels. Basically, we went on a revenue share model with them. We created a platform that could be supplied from the cloud and through virtualized services, BNFs such as SD1, virtual firewall, and other BNFs. We created an offer to the market that will use actually the infrastructure of other carriers for connectivity, that will not require additional operations and support because it's all fully automated, and that is because of all of these savings can actually go into a specific price target that can actually target the small, medium enterprise segment. So we were able to create a product that will compete with the MPLS type of product, and because it's not a direct competition to the incumbents heavily focus on the large enterprises, it actually opens up a huge piece of the market for them. So we automated, we created a portfolio, we're going out to market on a joint marketing strategy, and our intent is to collect about an increase in 40% on the size of their customers, right? They are going for a new market segment that will make them grow by 40% their customer base. Additionally, because of the experiences learned on the other projects that we were discussing, pretty much the time to market became 12 weeks. You'll see that from the previous slides, we are recurringly talking about 12 weeks. And the thing is that once you are able to deploy this for a couple of customers in that time frame, you know how to do it and you can replicate it. So in this case, even though the scope was larger, even though it was more complex, we were able to deliver this within 12 weeks. Additionally, because we already have a platform, we already have all of these Mano and digital marketplace, and we already have the interfaces created towards the OSS BSS, launching new BNFs, actually, the time to launch and onboard a new BNF actually is reduced by 50%. So those 12 weeks, when it comes to new stuff over the same platform, become more like 4 to 6 weeks. And those new BNFs become actually building blocks to create new products and services. So we think, again, that this is going to become a virtuous circle in which we create these products, we launch them. When they are successful on a specific segment, like the SME segment, we launch them also for the large enterprises, for other customers, and we take a close cycle approach. We get everything that we learn from that and launch new services and keep on doing this over and over again. That's why we're so interested in partnering with these service providers, because it's also a hugely profitable model for all of us. And finally, looking for innovative business models to transform the business, right? This is probably a low-hanging fruit. I would call this a low-hanging fruit. For any of our carrier friends, any of our service provider friends who want to test the waters into the virtualization space, this is probably the easiest way to do it, which is, okay, traditionally, and this is another of our customers over in Europe, traditionally, they had been a box reseller, right? So you are a carrier in that space, you are well known in the market, you are trusted by your customers, and basically you are buying from Cisco, Juniper, all of these guys, and reselling these CPEs. Your margins on that are probably very slight, and your cost structure tends to be high because you need to take care of logistics, operations, a bunch of other stuff. What we did with this is that basically through, again, digital marketplace, automated delivery and stuff like that, they started offering XaaS, meaning infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Which type of software? Things as simple as Microsoft 365, Office 365, just software suites that most of the enterprise customers consume. Is the margin on that small? Yeah, it's very small, but because you are now virtual, your cost structure gets reduced, gets minimized, and hence, through volume, that can be a very profitable business for you. Again, you don't need to transform your whole operations, and you don't need to transform your whole processes. This is an overlay way of actually getting into the virtualization space and actually being able to capitalize on the customer wanting to do this. If additionally, you become sort of the one-stop shop for this customer, even though there is other offerings in the market, you will be able to capture a piece of that business, okay? So to close, to summarize, out of these 4 approaches to the market, you get to focus on a strong go-to-market. So you give a new set of products and portfolio to your sales teams, you energize them, money starts coming in, you'll get funding to keep on innovating, keep on developing everything that we want to do on this forum, right? Automate operations, reduce costs, so on and so forth. Second, you get to adopt multi-channel marketplace and self-service, give control to the end user. He decides when to buy, how to buy, he knows exactly what he's paying for, and there will probably be a couple of, upsells based on instinct. I want to buy this additionally to what I was buying. You also have the DevOps design. This goes to the point where we were talking about partnering with the customer, and hence getting faster results that are actually able to generate revenue faster. So the faster we can develop and launch these new services, there is a cost of opportunity that you are actually being able to capture, right? And finally, through the drive operations in, actually, you go from a top-down approach. So now, instead of letting the technology decide what you are going to sell onto the market, you decide what type of products and services the customer wants, and from there, you define a way of delivering that through technology. And we have a broad set of technology actually to go and deliver the exact products and services that the market is requesting. So with that, you accelerate new services, and again, you enter this virtuous cycle in which you create services, you bring new money, you have new funding to develop new stuff. That's a good summary of what we're doing in the market. Probably if I wanted one idea, you to live with one idea on your mind is the technology is there. We have proven cases throughout the world. We have probably over 16 customers that are implementing one or another of these approaches, and they are already capitalizing on these opportunities. I believe the time is ripe for us to go and actually try to capitalize on these technologies.